now.
Welcome to our session on TTN in academic institutions in developing countries and the lessons we have learned. My name is Marco Zennaro. I come from the ICTP with my colleague Armando Pietrosemoli and Sebastian Butrick coming from NSRC. Our organizations have a long experience in capacity building and projects with universities and academic institutions in developing countries. ICTP is a Category 1 UNESCO institution, and NSRC is at University of Oregon. So if we look at the map of IoT devices and of gateways, you see there is a data divide. So there's many IoT devices deployed in Europe, and there's fewer deployed in Africa. And if you look at the image on the right showing the number of TTN gateways, again, you see there's less than 100. So that's the same number as a capital city in Europe. So in this presentation, we want to show you some of the examples of what we have been doing to overcome this issue.
Spectrum regulation are a very important issues because in every country they have different regulation despite abiding in general to the ITU recommendations. So in fact, some countries do not have specific regulation for LoRaWAN devices, so they must be looked upon short distance radius devices or just unlicensed band regulations. In particular, in the case of Argentina, for instance, we had an issue when we were doing a workshop there, because despite they are in region 2 and they should comply with ITU recommendations, they were using, in fact, rules from Australia and changing them slightly. So this is something that must be taken care of when dealing with regulations. The same thing applies to medium sharing techniques. They are a little more general, and they have two different kinds, and these are necessary in order to be able to share a common medium. And you can use listen before talk legally, but it's not really very useful in the case of LoRaWAN. Instead, for LoRaWAN, there are applications that rely on time on air restrictions of two kinds: in maximum dwell time in region 2 countries, or in duty cycle limitation, which means the fraction of time that you can be on air in ITU region countries. Type approval is something that many countries require in order to accept the importation of any kind of electronic radio device. As an example, when we're doing deployment in Mauritius, we had to delay 2 months the deployment time because the equipment we were going to ship into the country didn't have the type approval. Some countries do this type approval inside, and others they can rely on outside laboratories that are approved by the regulator, but this process might take a long time and must be taken care of. As far as long distance applications, they are quite important in developing countries because they can lend themselves to disaster prevention and mitigation, especially for landslides, volcano monitoring, and other applications like that are quite interesting and sometimes require very long distance, even in regions where there is no cellular coverage. So LoRaWAN is a very good application for this kind of thing.
NRENS are the national research and education networks, and together with regional platforms such as NordoNet, UbuntuNet, they've been instrumental in rolling out EduRoam all over the planet. And we're suggesting that they could do the same for something we might call IoT Roam. They have the backhaul, they have the points of presence, the infrastructure, and they can act as centers for IoT innovation in partnerships between community, private, and public sectors. Remote data and application, needless to say, will only become more important in post-coronavirus times. How do we get there? Well, here's an example: Uganda 2020 February workshop with the Ugandan NREN RENU first gateway installed in University of Makerere. Generally, if you're in an NREN or around in a platform organization, get those gateways out there, get those sensors out there, host backends, advocate for progress in IoT regulations, collaborate, integrate, share your packets, again, community, private, public partnerships. And we welcome you to work with us on behalf of the ICTP and the NSRC. Thank you.